Rise and Skol. Happy Friday. Happy Valentine's Day to all those handsome fellows and lovely ladies out there. It's Rise and Skol. We got some stuff to talk about.
Rise and Skol. People's Choice Award as Best Vikings Morning Show in 2025.
Not yet. There were comments. I didn't even put them on there because it's rude. People love some Rise and Skol. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. We got news. We got comments. We got trivia. We got a few scenarios as always. But let's just get right into it with the latest Vikings news. And it's kind of a hodgepodge of the same old. But the biggest thing for me, Durante Jones interviewing for the Saints defensive coordinator job. We don't want him to leave. That's one guy I really don't want to leave.
We don't want him to leave, but Brian Flores is back now, so he's going to go at some point, right? Like he deserves to get a DC position. Who knows where it goes from there? If Flores wasn't coming back, this news would worry me a lot more because I do feel like he's next in line to step up if Flores gets a head coaching job. Now that he's back, if he goes, it's easier to swallow.
Yeah, but don't go to the Saints. It's going to be a shit show down there. Kellen Moore's, I just see that just not panning out at all. Durante, you can do better. You can do better. Just stick around here. Aaron Rodgers, odds are shifting 400 to plus 750. I think everybody thinks there's no way in hell that's happening anyways.
Get away from us, Aaron.
Yeah, I just there's just no way. And based off of the comments, I was surprised. Some people really want Aaron Rodgers to come here.
Again, if we didn't have a young quarterback in place, it's a different story for me. Now that he's here, I want Aaron Rodgers to go far away.
Speaking of the quarterback position, KOC was getting a lot of run because he's on the Dan Patrick show. Asked who would have started last year if McCarthy didn't go down. Sounds like it pretty much would have been Sam Darnold regardless, at least to start the season.
He did say the word probably. He did have probably in there. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. Darnold would have started. How long would have started? I don't know. If he would have played like he did, he probably would have kept playing.
Maybe he would have played a quarter. We do not know. And then everybody pretty much is all of a sudden on the train of Sam Darnold just not coming back. Again, same old talkers, but it's nice to see that that's becoming more realistic.
Like the Rodgers news, this is shifting the other way. Like the Byron Murphy, Cam Bynum, who's coming, it's shifting in one way, and this way it's shifting for Sam Darnold to go somewhere else. I watched some vid yesterday naming where the top 15 free agents would go. That guy had Darnold ending up with the Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders seem to be the number one. Like, I would be very shocked if he didn't go to the Raiders now. And the other thing, like, just franchise tagging him, like that all that talk is just pretty much gone away too. I mean, even Kevin O'Connell saying he's earned the right to test for agencies. They're not going to tag him.
Mm-hmm. And KOC keeps saying the right stuff. Like, we want him back. We'd love for him to be part of us in 2025. Yeah, I'm sure you do. But he also at the same time is saying he realizes he's gone.
All right, before we get to comments, it's trivia time. Who was the last player the Vikings drafted from Notre Dame? Rick Spielman loved those Notre Dame boys.
I know. I'm trying to think of
the last player. I guess this ain't. I was surprised. Anyways, we'll give the answer to that in a little bit. Put your thinking caps on. But let's go into the top comments. Must he insane?
He loves commenting.
On the Gus Hartwig interview, he says that is a grown-ass man. Draft him. Gus Hartwig was getting a lot of love in the comments that he looked like a Viking. He needs to be a Viking. Very smart, humble guy. Everybody loved Gus Hartwig. If you haven't watched it, go watch the interview.
Yeah, one of the things I really took away was the fact that he he knows third day. I'm going to go on the third day of the draft. Like, most draft prospects don't just flat out say that. Like, he understands that's where he's going to go or undrafted. So it was kind of refreshing to hear that from him.
Yeah, I like the fact that, like, it was very nice of him to take the time to come on the show. He seems like a guy that just doesn't, like, he just wants to play football. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't give a shit. Where I go, I'm going to go just compete for a spot. Really don't even want to talk to you guys. And he just wants to play football.
Yeah. Like, where are these old perverts ask me questions?
He was awesome, though. He was very nice. Loved having him on. Next up, Justin says, feel like James Daniels is a Kwesi guy. Position of need coming off of an injury. And the reason I put that on there, we don't really talk about him much. Like, James Daniels is was pretty damn good offensive line. We just always go to the the Zeitlers, the Trey Smiths, the Will Fry is like James Daniels is definitely an option.
Yeah, he fits the Kwesi mold. The young player coming off, is it his rookie contract? I believe. I know he's been with a couple teams, but
is it still his rookie contract?
I don't know. But young and injury, that's another thing. Like, I mean, maybe a guy who's not peaking right now, or maybe down in the dumps, who still has a lot of upside. So it does fit the mark. He checks all the boxes for a Kwesi guy. So yeah, maybe James Daniels is someone we should talk about a little bit more.
Yeah, I would love James Daniels. Was he Iowa? I don't know. I love them coming out of the draft. Next up, Double Tap says, how many times can you guys do a free agent themed video? Come on, please. New content. Double Tap is pissed.
Double Tap, look at where we are. James Daniels was Iowa. What else are we going to talk about right now? It's middle of February. Draft's 2 months away. Free agency is just a couple weeks away. Of course, we're going to talk free agents. We're going to talk a lot more free agency. That's what there's to talk about right now.
I believe that's a Zombieland. If they double tap, always got to double tap. Zombie. That was a very underrated movie. It's a great movie. I never saw part 2. Probably horrible.
I think I've seen them both.
Yeah, double tap. Hey, buckle up, man, or come back after the draft because we're going to talk about every damn scenario, free agent wise. Maybe we'll do a guy, free agents that are 33 to 35 years old that play defensive line. That sounds like a great video.
We owe it to ourselves to talk about that.
We're getting to know all the free agents. So then when we sign them, we can get excited. Parrot Head says, Kwesi's horrible drafts are really hurting us. Eagles are in great shape because of all the good young players they drafted and contributing early greatly to their success. Draft better. I would not extend Kwesi.
I mean, that is his knock. His drafts have not been great. And again, you got the one bad one and the two with a lot of, players who we still don't know yet. We don't know Mekhi Blackman. We don't know J.J. McCarthy. We don't know Dallas Turner yet. Those have to come to fruition. But, yeah, he does have to draft better, but I don't think it's destroyed this team like we've hit on some free agency players. So he's built this team a different way. It hasn't come through the draft. We're not, destroyed because of his horrible drafting, but it does need to get better.
What is this? Is this a chipmunk?
I don't know.
Dog? Anyways, the reason I put that on there is it's true. Go look at Howie Roseman's first couple of drafts. Disaster. Howie Roseman has come a long, long way, and he's mastered the draft. There's no doubt about it. But Kwesi stepped on his dick in the first couple of drafts. They were brutal. You're kind of sugarcoating it, but they were brutal. But Howie Roseman, he wasn't doing great either. Gives us hope. And as far as extending them, just extend them. Just get it over.
Yeah, I mean, at least in the second draft, you found Jordan Addison. I mean, that's a star right there. And Howie's a great example. You look what he did with the trenches on both sides, investing picks early when you think you have it figured out. Drafting in a center when you have Jason Kelsey, getting guards when you already have guys in place, and then building with that D line. And last year, you see him; he's got the trenches good. What does he do? Uses 2 picks on the secondary. So that's the kind of shit Kwesi has to start doing.
Yeah, and Howie Roseman, one of his first draft picks was Danny Watkins. Danny Watkins was 48 years old, and they drafted him, and he was not good. So
remember, he was the Mike Mayock guy, and Mike Mayock had all these guys who loved him. I think every single one of them was just horrible.
Danny Watkins. Last one says Trey Smith looked ugly out there. They might need to rethink this. Are we really going to let one game decide if we sign the best guard in the league?
I mean, it is the Super Bowl, so everybody's watching, and he didn't play his best game in the Super Bowl.
The line was shit.
I know. It's just one game. It was the whole playoffs. He didn't do well. But, yeah, you got to look at the body of work. I know it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, makes you a little bit nervous investing in him, but then go back and watch, what he's done. Look at his grades over the last couple of years. You'll feel better.
All right, that is the mailbag. She is empty. Let's go to a couple of guys, at least now. I mean, every year there's always players man, I just really don't want him for some reason. He might end up being fantastic, but he's just not tickling my parts. So let's go to guys that we are uninterested in, and I'll go first. And this, this is kind of obvious, but not really, because he's being mocked to the Vikings quite a bit. And when we do mock drafts, there's people saying, dude, how do you pass on this guy? How do you pass on him? It's Nick Emenwari, the big safety. And you know what? The dude looks legit. It looks like he's going to be fantastic. Linebacker, playing a safety, playmaker. I mean, he's got everything. Everybody says blue chip, blue chip, blue chip. But again, it just comes down to the fact that it's safety. And it's not even so much Lewis Cine. That hurt a little bit. But we've had good safeties. We got to go to the trenches, man. Got to.
Yeah, safety is a position I'd like to see the Vikings address in free agency, whether it's bringing back Cam Bynum or going and getting somebody else. But you got to love Nick Moore. He's been pretty much called Cam Chancellor, but with more athleticism and speed. That's a pretty high praise there on him. But yeah, it's the position for me. Again, I want these trenches built up. That's where I want this team to focus, not grabbing a safety.
Yeah, maybe do that and get a safety next year. Go in on a safety next year. I'm fine for them gambling and go, even if it's Metellus and Theo Jackson. I'm fine with that gamble as long as they put money elsewhere.
Yeah, if you get a good, the front seven can take care of a sketchy back end.
He is going to be good though. He's going to be good.
So.
Look at him. He looks like he's just going to take somebody's head off. I was surprised, Lupagus, on your guy.
Well, yeah, I don't want him in. I don't want him at pick 24, and I've seen some early mocks having him there. No. I like Caleb Johnson, but I've actually seen him mocked to the Vikings in round one, and it goes to me to the position. I don't want a running back in round one unless Ashton Genty falls to us somehow, and we've already addressed the rest of the needs. These trenches have to be built up. We can't invest the 24th pick in a running back, especially someone who's not considered the top running back in the draft. This is a very deep running back class. You can find a guy maybe even in late round 5, round 7, who knows? This running back class is insanely deep. Caleb Johnson, actually love him as a player. To me, he's more of a, if you end up getting an extra second round pick somewhere in there, late second round, you can grab him there. Again, not so much a knock on a player, the position. We cannot go running back in round 1, and I've seen it in multiple drafts, and it makes me sick.
Yeah, he's a little bowling ball. He's good. And yeah, I guess when you round 1, absolutely. Like when it comes to running back for me, it's like if we're gonna take him early, it's getting more picks. So it's like if we got an additional third and we took a running back in third, I'd be fine with it. But like I don't want a running back before then. It's just so thick.
I want a running back at some point.
Everybody's saying how deep this draft class is. They're right. And to not reach, but just to get excited and take one early, make me sad.
Yeah, especially imagine there's like Walter Nolan's there and you take a Caleb Johnson at 24. I'd be sick.
Walter Nolan. Oh. All right, we're gonna do the trivia answer here quick, but first we're gonna do Shaft the draft. What?
Shaft the draft?
All right, so I got two mock drafts, and Lupagus, you're gonna pick which one you're gonna give the shaft and give the boot to. So one, stick and pick. Second one, handful of trades, multiple players. You ready?
Yeah. Did you do these mocks or these ones the viewers did or you saw online?
No, I just did 2 back-to-back mocks.
Okay. Great title.
Number 1. What do you think? Break her down, man.
Well, Kenny Grant, I mean, that's huge. Getting him at 24 makes me very excited. Jack Besh is a guy I've been starting to draft a lot too. I talk about a wide receiver 3, a guy who just knows how to get open. Not the tallest, fastest guy over there, but tough as hell. He will go up and catch anything. Doesn't care if a guy's about to come all over him with a big old hit. Luke Andra, the guards from Cincinnati, another nice prospect there. I can't say I know a lot about Zoff Frazier from UTSA, but cornerback help is needed. So not bad right there.
All right, next up, we're wheeling and dealing and got some more picks. Here we go. Derek Harmon. So Harmon, Ratledge is a plug-and-play guy day one. Zy Alexander, corner with the big size, 6'2", 6'3", from LSU. Jordan Phillips, I know you love Jordan Phillips, so I was kind of going with your trying to mess with your heart a little bit. Miles Frazier, kind of that bulldozer type of guard. ATN, kind of just a throw in there. I think he's looked at more as a RB2 coming out of the gates. Maybe he can get to one. And then Zeke Biggers. Zeke Biggers, the big man. So we triple dipped on D tackle. Triple dipped. We got 2 guards. We went all in on the trenches and still ended up getting a big old corner. And then ATN just kind of let's see what he's got.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Harmon, again, I'm still not sure how I feel about him. Starting to warm up on him a little bit, but he's probably my D tackle 5 at this point. Ratledge, just a solid guard, right guard. That's where he's played all his career, and definitely in the right range there.
Who you shafting? Who you shafting?
I'm just talking this thing through. I think I'm shafting the second one. I'm going to go with the top one, the fewer. Oh, wow. I just think Grant and Besh would be huge impact players in year one. And then you got some O-line depth. I'm gonna assume this first one is really assisted by free agency. But I'm gonna go with the shorter one on this one.
Wow, there's no wrong answer. I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. I think Derek Harmon is gonna be a damn good NFL player.
He makes me nervous.
I don't know why. He's
always blocked, and then he comes off the block eventually. It's like
34 pressures.
Destroy the guy.
34 pressures led the nation. That seems to sound like he wasn't always blocked.
Well, he watched his highlight. The quarterback's always running around, and he's got to fight through the block, and he eventually gets there. So anybody who gets the ball fast, I'm afraid all those pressures are going to go away.
Boy, all right, there you go. All right, so the trivia answer comments. Who was your guess? Who last player from Vikings drafted from Notre Dame? Who's your guess?
I'm going to go with Robert Blanton.
Robert Blanton is right. And I thought you weren't going to get this because Harrison Smith was the same draft. It's just Blanton was after him. So technically he was the last player.
Yeah, I thought it was a year or two after. I didn't realize it was the same draft.
It was the same draft. Kyle Rudolph was a couple years before. But yes, Robert freaking Blanton was the man. Well done, Lupagus. That puts a bow on Rise and Skol. We hope everybody has a wonderful Friday morning, afternoon, and evening. And happy Valentine's Day.
Hopefully you did something nice for your special one for Valentine's Day.
Did you?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
All right, guys, remember this. A giraffe's neck can be up to 6.5 feet long.
Figured